Hello everyone, welcome to session 3. In this session, we will focus on information extraction with high-resolution optical satellite imagery. In the previous sessions, we discussed remote sensing data and data access. Today, we will move one step further, how to extract useful information from satellite images. From high-resolution imagery that allows us to observe ground objects in much greater detail, such as buildings, roads, water bodies, vegetation, and urban structures. Therefore, it plays an important role in environmental monitoring, urban mapping, disaster assessment, and sustainable development applications. This slide introduces different high-resolution remote sensing platforms. Remote sensing observations can be acquired from spaceborne satellites, aerial cameras, and UAV platforms. Over the past decades, the spatial resolution of satellite imagery has improved greatly, from Landsat imagery with tens of meters resolution to IKONOS, Worldview, ZUN-3, and Golfin imagery with meter or even sub-meter level resolution. At the same time, UAVs and aerial cameras can provide even finer observations, sometimes reaching centimeter level resolution. These platforms form a multi-scale observation system supporting regional, urban, and object-level remote sensing applications. Here we introduce the concept of spatial resolution. Spatial resolution refers to the smallest ground unit that can be clearly distinguished in a remote sensing image. It is often expressed as ground resolution, pixel resolution, or ground sampling distance. In simple terms, it tells us how much real-world ground area is represented by one image pixel. For example, a 30-meter image pixel represents a much larger ground area than a 1-meter pixel. Therefore, when the pixel size becomes smaller, the image can show more detailed information. This is especially important when we need to identify small objects, narrow roads, building boundaries, or fine land cover patterns. This slide compares medium resolution and high resolution imagery using Wuhan as an example. The ETM Plus image has a spatial resolution of 30 meters, while the QuickBird image has a much finer resolution of 2.4 meters. For the comparison, we can clearly see that the high resolution imagery provides richer spatial details. The geometric structures of ground objects becomes more obvious, the spatial layout becomes clearer, and information such as texture, shape, and size can be better observed. This is why high-resolution imagery is widely used for detailed urban mapping, object extraction, and fine-scale environmental monitoring. Now let us begin with eCognition. eCognition is an object-oriented image analysis platform. It is well known for image segmentation and role-based classification. Unlike traditional pixel-based methods, object-based image analysis first groups neighboring pixels into meaningful image objects. These objects can be classified according to their spectral features, shape, texture, size, and spatial relationships. This approach is particularly useful for high-resolution imagery because one real-world object, such as a building, a road segment, or a farmland parcel, usually contains many pixels. Object-based analysis can therefore reduce fragmented classification results and better represent complete ground objects. This slide introduces SuperMap. SuperMap is a GIS software system developed in China. It provides fundamental GIS software products and supports geospatial data management, visualization, analysis, and publishing. For remote sensing applications, GIS software is very important because satellite images are not only images, they are also spatial data. Each pixel has a geographic location, and the image can be combined with roads, buildings, administrative boundaries, water systems, land cover maps, and socioeconomic information. Therefore, GIS platforms provide the basic environment for organizing, analyzing, and applying remote sensing data. Here we compare QGIS and ArcGIS. ArcGIS is a commercial GIS platform developed by Esri and is widely used in professional and enterprise-level geospatial applications. It provides powerful tools for mapping, spatial analysis, 3D visualization, data management, and web GIS. However, it can be expensive, and beginners may need time to learn its full functions. QGIS, in contrast, is an open-source GIS platform. It is free, flexible, and supported by many plugins and extensions. Therefore, QGIS is very suitable for teaching, research, and small to medium-scale projects. In scale, ArcGIS is strong in standardized and enterprise-level workflows, while QGIS is attractive because of its openness and flexibility. Now we move to water extraction using Google Earth Engine, or GEE. GEE is a cloud-based geospatial analysis platform. It allows users to access large volumes of satellite imagery and geospatial datasets directly online. This is very different from traditional workflows, where users need to download images, store them locally, pre-process them, and then run analysis on their own computers. GEE makes this process more efficient, especially for large study areas and multi-temporal analysis. On this slide, we can see the basic interface of GEE, including the working directory area, code area, result area, and visualization area. The first step in the GEE workflow is to define the study area. In this example, the study area is selected using a rectangle and named study area. This polygon defines the spatial boundary for all subsequent image filtering, processing, classification, and visualization. Although this step is simple, it is very important. Remote sensing analysis must always be connected to a clear geographic extent. If the study area is not correctly defined, the selected images, training samples, and final results may all be affected. The second step is to select satellite data. In this example, Landsat 8 surface reflectance data are selected from the GEE data catalog. The image collection is filtered by the study area and by time period from January 1st, 2019 to January 1st, 2020. Then the images are pre-processed, composited using the median value, and clipped to the study area. The median composite is a common method in remote sensing because it can reduce the influence of clouds, cloud shadows, and abnormal observations. Instead of relying on a single image, we combine multiple images to obtain a more stable representation of the land surface. The third step is to prepare labeled samples. In this slide, water and land samples are manually selected using rectangles and assigned different class labels. These labeled samples are used as training data for supervised classification. For water extraction, labeled samples are essential because they tell the classifier what water and land look like in the image. In general, water usually has low reflectance in the near-infrared and short-wave infrared bands, while vegetation, bare soil, and built-up areas show different spectral responses. Therefore, reliable samples can help model better distinguish water from non-water areas. The fourth step is supervised classification using random forest. Random forest is a widely used machine learning algorithm in remote sensing. It is robust, relatively easy to use, and performs well with multi-band and multi-feature data. In this example, the classifier is trained using the labeled samples and then applied to the image. The MNWI, or Modified Normal Difference Water Index, can also be added as an input feature to enhance water information. By combining spectral bands and water indices, the classifier can more accurately separate water bodies from land areas. The final classification map shows the spatial distribution of water bodies in the study area. This slide extends to water extraction workflow to UNU-INWEH Imagery. Using labeled samples, similar classification methods can be applied to high-resolution satellite images to map water bodies, vegetation, developed land, forests, and other land cover types. Compared with Landsat imagery, GOFIN-1 provides finer spatial details, which is very useful for identifying small rivers, ponds, wetlands, and complex urban land cover patterns. This example shows that supervised classification can support more detailed land cover mapping when high-resolution data are available. Now let us move on to object detection. Object detection refers to identifying and locating specific objects in remote sensing images, such as buildings, roads, vehicles, ships, aircraft, bridges, and other man-made structures. Unlike pixel-level classification, object detection focuses more on individual objects and their spatial distribution. In urban areas, buildings and roads contain rich spatial and attribute information. Their density, size, shape, and distribution can reflect the level of urban development. Therefore, object extraction is not only a technical task, but also an important tool for urban planning, infrastructure management, socioeconomic analysis, and disaster assessment. This slide introduces building extraction using ENVI. ENVI is a professional remote sensing software platform designed for processing, analyzing, and visualizing geospatial imagery. It provides many advanced tools for image correction, classification, spectral analysis, change detection, and deep learning-based interpretation. In the following example, we will use ENVI together with high-resolution satellite imagery to demonstrate a general workflow for building extraction. This workflow includes opening the image data, selecting building labels, training a deep learning model, and extracting buildings. The first step is to open the SuperView data. SuperView is a commercial high-resolution satellite source from China. Because of its fine spatial resolution, individual buildings can be clearly observed in the image. This makes it suitable for building extraction and urban mapping. However, urban scenes are often complex. Buildings may have different roof materials, colors, heights, shapes, and shadow conditions. Therefore, automatic building extraction usually requires advanced image interpretation methods, especially deep learning models. The second step is to select building labels. In supervised deep learning, labeled samples are required for model training. Here, building areas are manually labeled on the high-resolution image. These images tell the model what buildings look like in terms of shape, texture, color, edge features, and surrounding context. The quality of labels is very important. If the labels are inaccurate, incomplete, or not representative enough, the trained model may produce unreliable extraction results. Therefore, careful sample selection is a key step in deep learning-based remote sensing interpretations. The third step is to train a deep learning model. In ENVI, users can set training parameters such as the number of epochs, the number of patches per epoch, patch size, sampling rate, class weight, and loss weight. These parameters influence the training process and the final model performance. Deep learning models are powerful because they can learn not only spectral information, but also spatial patterns, textures, edges, shapes, and contextual relationships. For building extraction, this is especially useful because buildings often have relatively regular shapes, clear boundaries, and specific spatial arrangements. The fourth step is to extract buildings using the trained model. After training, the model can be applied to the input image to generate a building extraction map. In the results shown on this slide, the extracted buildings are highlighted in red. This result demonstrates that deep learning can quickly identify a large number of buildings from the high-resolution imagery. Such building extraction results can support urban mapping, population estimation, infrastructure management, emergency response, and post-disaster management. Finally, this slide lists several reference platforms and software resources, including eCognition, ENVI, Supermap, PySat, ArcGIS, and QGIS. These tools represent different types of geospatial software, including commercial GIS, open source GIS, professional remote sensing platforms, and object-based image analysis systems. In practical applications, we should select suitable tools according to the research question, data type, available resources, and technical requirements. This concludes today's session on information extraction with high-resolution optical satellite imagery. In the next session, we will further discuss how high-resolution satellite images can be used for post-disaster damage assessment. Thank you.